I'm Fong-Jones, and I am I think, fourth-time Advent of Code streamer. I've done this for 4 years running, so I'm really excited to be doing this with you all today. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a little bit of review of what happened yesterday, because a watchful viewer caught a erratum, and I'd like to make sure that we talk about what went wrong and how we're going to deal with it. So yesterday, the problem was to identify out of a list of numbers, 2 numbers that would sum to the value 2020. And there was a minor problem that cropped up in the revision history that I want to talk through. So this is the minor bug that happened. When I introduced this change here, in the kind of period after I solved the puzzle initially, but when I started optimizing it with folks on stream, I was a little bit rushed, and I realized that this logic here, does not do what you think it should do. So the problem yesterday was meant to deal with, search through all of the first numbers, and then if you find a number that has a value equal to what you would need to make it add to 2020, then we know what the sum is going to be. Someone pointed out that if the set of things contained the number 1010, then it would match against itself. So that was a really great observation, which twitter.com/theotherandneil made. And fortunately, this is a 4-line fix. So I wanted to quickly talk through kind of what I did to fix that bug. So yesterday, we used a contains map. And the contains map just said, it was essentially equivalent to a set, right? It was a hash set rather than a hash map. So I changed it from a hash set where the bool value true means that I saw it before and that I know it's present, to instead containing the index at which I saw this number. So now, if for some reason I come across myself, so if I'm given the value 1010, then I need to make sure that the second 1010 that I see is not in fact myself. So once you apply that fix here and that fix down here on part B, then you have resolved the issue that was the bug in the previous code. So that's just a quick errata from yesterday I wanted to point out, which I missed, and I'm really glad that people are watching the YouTube videos and keeping me honest here. Cool. I do see a question from M39, which is, how do I customize the terminal? So that is an excellent question. So let's see. I think I have no secrets in here. I shouldn't, because I checked this file in. So my command line has something called powerline, and powerline is a really cool adapter for Bash that customizes your terminal prompt and gives it special properties. Like if I keep on going deeper and deeper, it'll actually start trimming stuff that's in the middle, so I only see the kind of root and the current path rather than having a spill over line after line after line. And also tells me, I think yesterday I demonstrated, right, like if I go to this other host here, right, like it'll identify which host I'm on. And say, hey, by the way, you're SSH into Daisy, like don't type in something thinking that you're logged into your local terminal. So that's what that is, powerline. And yep, so if you apt install powerline, you'll get what you want. Hey, Rains, good to see you. Hello from the great wildlands of Canada. It's nice to have you here as well. Awesome. So we're basically at this point mostly getting ready for the puzzle to unlock. We've got about 5 minutes to go until the puzzle unlocks. I am going to run a 90-second pre-roll at 90 seconds before the puzzle drops. That way, hopefully, anyone joining in the stream as I get started with the coding won't have to watch a pre-roll ad and can just jump straight into this. There's never a great time to run an ad, but I think probably this is the best compromise that meets every requirement. And yay, I'm glad I was able to resolve the question about the terminal prompt. So the one thing I need to do today is I need to get my template set up. So I'm just going to, for now, copy this and just set this template up the same way I normally do. So this is just the boilerplate I wind up doing every day. And I will just do this. So typically we have something that looks like this, and we'll just remove all of this logic here. So this is a pretty clean template. So I've got my files present, and the other thing is I may need a feature flag for whether or not I'm using part B, because sometimes you need to vary your functionality to create a different output depending upon whether you're working on part A or part B. So we'll go ahead and get that taken care of. And yep, so that's now taking care of that. Oh, sorry, I realized I was on my face that whole time. Turns out production mixing for streams is actually a job that real people do that takes the workload off the streamer, but I am a small independent shop, so I'm just doing this myself. Oh, that reminds me. I should mention that because I am starting to actually have some serious numbers of subscriptions come in this year, and like previous years, I am going to be putting the money from subscriptions towards making my stream as accessible as it can be on the budget that I have, which means that I will be paying a real life person, to caption the videos so that they're accessible to deaf and hard of hearing people. It will be on a delay. It won't be immediately on the stream. It will instead be, the captions will be available on YouTube several days after each stream runs. It is unfortunately the best that I can do on my budget, where I can afford to spend maybe like $1,000 or $2,000, but not like, $10,000, which is what it would take to have a human being caption these in real time. I often do get the question of, why don't you just trust the AI captions? There are AI caption tools that are free. The reason why I don't is that someone who is deaf or hard of hearing has access to better tools for doing automatic transcription that's error prone on their own computer. Like, there's no sense in me spending money or spending effort setting that up for someone who has 90% accurate tools on their own desktop. The actual bar for accessibility, for real accessibility, is like 99% accuracy, and you only get that with a human transcribing. So that's kind of the what I'm doing with the money. So if you feel inclined to donate, I do have a PayPal link, or you can throw me a subscription on Twitch. Either way works. All of the money is going towards captioning and access. None of this is going into my own pocket. I'm a software engineer. I do kind of make enough money in my day job that this isn't something that I need to sustain my own living. Thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate it. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Tango, Hotel, Foxtrot, Yankee, Mike. So instead I'm going to practice my phonetic alphabet. All right, we've got 1 minute and 30 until the puzzle unlocks, so I'm going to go ahead and run a 90-second ad break. That way we can enjoy the solving of the puzzle in real time without having to watch ads. All right. What do we need to do to get this set up while we're waiting? Secondary window is good to go. Okay, so this is about ready. So just waiting on the puzzle to unlock, and then we'll go ahead and get started with this. The other thing that I'm hoping is that I hope that the servers don't crash the way that they did last time. So hug ups to the folks over at Advent of Code, hug ups to Eric, hug ups to A9. I sincerely hope that this goes very smoothly. Alrighty. Yeah, we have a fix for that issue. Yeah, well, there's always unknown unknowns. All right, day 2 is now live, so let's have a look. We're taking a toboggan to the central airport. We can't log in. There is a database of passwords and the corporate password on policies. The lowest and highest number of times a given character must appear. Okay, that seems simple enough and straightforward enough. So let's go ahead and pop this open and paste this input into... Okay, so the format of this, now that I'm staring at it, seems to be a number, a dash, a number, a space, and then a letter, and then a colon, and then the password. So we need to do some really quick tokenization. So let us do this. So I'm going to pull up some Go documentation in order to look at the strings, because I suspect I'll be needing this. So we are going to first split it on the character space. I think that's probably the right thing to do, because that'll give me the 3 parts that I need. All right, so we'll do that. So we're going to do parsed split, and then split in the character space, and then if length of parsed is not equal to 3, then we know we have a problem. Encountered, bad line. And we'll give it a split. Okay. So now we need to take each part of this and deal with it. So over here, so password is going to be the second index. The character is going to be character we're looking for is parsed of 1 and the 0th index in it, because this is going to be something like, so we need that. So, and this is going to be, okay. And then, oh, I suspect I know what part B is. I suspect part B is going to be number of characters in a row and not just number of times that the letter appears at all. Okay, so we'll leave that be for now. And then over here we have length spec is going to be parsed of 0. So we need to do this again. Split parsed of 0 with the colon character, I believe. No, it's the dash character. Okay. So that seems pretty straightforward. I should really do a FAQ that my moderators and so forth can paste into the chat of why I use Nano. But I can fortunately do that while I type. The answer to that is that I used Nano when I first started using Linux because it was the only editor that actually showed you the help on the commands at the bottom. I got lost in Emacs and Nano and had to force quit them way too many times. And I've been using Nano ever since. Don't ever let someone hassle you over your choice of editor. It turns out that principal engineers like me do in fact use Nano as their primary editors. Okay, so let's see. So we need min is ling spec of 0. And max is going to be, is it inclusive or exclusive? Lowest or highest? At least and at most. Great, okay. Is length spec is not equal to 2. Then we again know that we have a problem. So yeah, that's fine. So now, let's just leave that, I guess, the way it is. Actually, yeah, we'll do... okay. and now we just need to, we need to iterate over each character in the password. Map of car to int. Oh, that's actually going to be rune because we're working in Golang. So we are going to. Oh, I realize I'm working rather close to the bottom. I should not be doing that, given that I now have the watermark, the honeycomb watermark. Okay. C, C++. And then now, let's see. We need matches 0. If C is greater than or equal to min, and C is less than or equal to max, then matches plus. Okay, I think that should do the trick. Did do wrong here? Line 25, strings split. Oh, yes, that needs to be on I, on S. This is an n-used variable. And line 47, let's see, if chars of char, okay, I think that should do it. And cannot use type char as rune. Why is char not, oh, I see. This should be fine because it's just going to be plain ASCII. Okay, so it says 460 of these passwords match, so we're going to go ahead and plug that in and see what it says. It says that's the correct answer. I did not score in the top 1,000, that's fine. This is one of the easier puzzles, and because I'm aiming for education and spending time talking to you rather than typing as fast as I can, you know, I'm not necessarily going to place in the top 1,000 on the easier problems. That's fine. Describes 2 different positions in the password. Okay. Contains, exactly one of these positions must contain the given letter. Okay, that's fine. That's simple enough. So we're going to print the 2 outputs one at a time. So matches A and matches B. Okay, you know what? These could just be defined this way instead because int is a int is a value that's 0 initialized in Golang. Okay, so if car password index if password index min equals car and password index max is not equal to car, then exactly one of those 2 positions. Okay. Or password min, you know what? I think that this can be done with a bitwise operation. I believe this is XOR in Golang. Is that correct? Bitwise XOR applies to integers. I think we'll find out whether it likes this or not. So let's see. If exactly 1 is true, then matches B++, and we're going to print matches A and matches B. Okay, I suspect the compiler is going to yell at me, and that is fine. Yeah, it doesn't like rune and byte for one. Oh, I see my problem. Yeah, it's trying to apply this bitwise operation. Okay. Fine. We'll do it this way. Okay. Don't like doing it this way, but I'm going to do it anyways. I feel this is a little bit clumsier than the bitwise operation, but that's fine. If positions found is 1 and exactly 1, then that is B plus. Okay, now it's complaining about byte and rune. That's fine. The difference between byte and rune in Golang is one is a UTF rune and the other one is exactly 1 byte. Position number 7. Oh, I bet I have an off by 1. Oh, yep, I got an off by 1 error. Great. Okay. So. Okay. There we go. So there are 251 that are valid. So we're just going to plug that in. And that is correct. So that is it for day number 2. I think that is probably where I'm going to leave it. Yeah, as A9 points out, there is not necessarily an obligation to do things in especially pretty manner, especially given here that this is always going to be order n in the number of in the number of password entries, right? Like the previous day where you could up the ante a little bit. There is a up the ante option in reddit.com/r/advent of code. Highly recommend checking that out. But in this particular case, there really isn't an easy way to up the ante, so I'm just going to check that. Oops. Oh. Go away. Cool. So this is day 2.go. So a little bit of input parsing, a little bit of string mangling. Basically making sure, do you know how to use the IO libraries of your chosen language? So not too complicated, but days 1 through 5 in Advent of Code typically are not too complicated. It's only as kind of days 5, 6, 7 where they start increasing the difficulty. Typically all the way up to day 12 is how that typically goes. Add day 02 solution, and we'll go ahead and push it up to GitHub so anyone can have a look at it. So that is going to be at github.com/LizTheGray/advent-of-code in case people are interested in where they can find this code. I've had a really long day of streaming. Unfortunately, I gave like 1 talk today, 1 panel, and 1 podcast. So I'm a little bit streamed out for the day. I'm just going to cut this short. This will just be a really short and sweet exercise, and I will see you all about this time tomorrow. So that is about 11:50 p.m. Eastern, about 8:50 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll get started with Advent of Day 3. Super educational, super casual. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have, and have fun with Advent of Code. And I will catch you next time. Take care. Be safe out there.